So it's the 2nd of July and these dahlias have been in the ground now for coming on for 6 weeks, and as you can see we're getting some blooms already. And those are preference dahlias. And these are cafe au lait with some nice buds on. So I am going to talk today about one of the jobs that makes life easier and is, inverted commas, a good thing to do, and that is to mulch. So we practice no-dig gardening here, and one of the principles of no-dig is to apply a mulch on top of the soil, and that if it's an organic mulch, this is grass clippings, and it will rot down and it will apply some organic material and also nutrition to the soil below. So I'll just tell you how we did this. This is the result of mulching. It's a quick, easy job, but there's a couple of things to remember. One of them is that before you do a mulch, you should clear the ground of weeds. We've had a very dry June here in the UK, and weeds really haven't got started, so I'll show you the outside beds in a moment, but there's really very few weeds until it started to rain about 4 or 5 days ago, and then the weeds have really taken off. So the first job is to get rid of your weeds, and then to water the ground so that it's nice and damp when you put your mulch on. Reason for that is that one of the things the mulch does is to seal in moisture, so it prevents evaporation, and therefore the ground really should be wet before you put your mulch on so that it can stay wet, so to speak. So this is the grass clippings that we use. It's a simple matter. So a quick, easy job with a pitchfork. Just get yourself some clippings at any stage really. They can be neat and fresh, or these have been lying around for a day or two, and there's some older clippings at the back there. All of it's perfectly suitable for doing a mulch. So I've done my weeding, and I've wet the ground nicely, and then before putting the mulch on, what I will do is to clear away the very lower leaves so that they're not touching the mulch. So this guy here, who is showing signs of stress, yellowing, I will, because it's able to touch the mulch, and that's not a particularly good thing, it can aid rot and such like, and I'll just remove that leaf. And I've done that for all of these dahlias. Lots of the leaves are right down and touching the ground, so for those I've just stripped them away. They're the least useful of the leaves because they're down at ground level. They're being shielded by the leaves above, and therefore there's not much light can get at them, so I'll just clear those out of the way. And so this is the final result of the mulching. I'll take the mulch up to around about 6-10 inches away from the actual growing stem. It shouldn't be touching the growing stem because again that can promote rot. So you see I've got a bit of space around the actual growing stem there. And here. So this, sorry. There's a little extra stem growing here which is not going to serve any purpose, so I'll get rid of that. So I've got this space of neat soil that's not covered by the mulch around the actual stem. So why is mulching such a good thing? Well, it does a number of jobs. First of all, it will prevent the growth of many weeds. So it really is a time saver for the amount of effort that goes into just putting a mulch on and renewing it now and again and putting it back when the birds pick it off. For the amount of effort that goes into that, you really are repaid many times over, because it makes life so much easier in as much as you have got very little weeding to do. That's not just for dahlias, of course, it's for almost any plant in the garden. So it stops weeds. Secondly, it will prevent evaporation, so that the one of the main sources of loss of water on the surface is evaporation, and having a mulch like this will prevent that. So it keeps your plants healthier, happier. It keeps your plants happier because there's less drying out effect, wind and sun. Thirdly, it adds some organic material if the mulch is organic. So we're using an organic mulch here. It's grass clippings, and they will rot down over a period of about maybe 2 months, after which it'll need to be renewed. So where we are on the outside caffeolets in the raised bed, and as you can see, there's a little bit of weed, starting up there. So I'll just remove those, and then we'll apply that clippings mulch. Just a few little surface weeds. No big deal. Don't have to be too particular, but anything you don't get now, you're going to have to get in the future. So just get rid of as many of these as possible. So I've done my weeding to an adequate degree. Now I'm going to apply some of this mulch. Simply a matter of laying it on the ground, flattening it down. And then, like I said before, when the mulch is touching the leaves, such as here, then you can remove those lower leaves. And the mulch goes up just not to the stem, but just about 10 inches or so away. those very lower leaves, just remove those very lower leaves. Pitchforks are good in getting in nooks and crannies as well. It doesn't look like it will be, but it is. So I'll just flatten that down. You can really be quite delicate with this pitchfork. Once you get used to it, sort of balance and how to move it around. Let's pick those leaves out of the mulch there. And I'm just flattening it down a bit. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm not touching any leaves as I go. And if it's too difficult to do that, then I'll remove those leaves that are touching the mulch. This last little corner to do here. So as a final check, I'm just going to go around and make sure that there's no mulch touching the stems. And if possible, there's no mulch touching the leaves. And the leaf there, just get rid of that. The ground was already wet from some rain last night, so I didn't have to water it. So let's take a last look here now. We've got an area of soil around each of the stems. This bit here is the mulch is nice and flat down onto the ground. We've stripped off any lower leaves that were touching the mulch. And we've made sure that there's this bit of space of soil only around each of the stems. Leaf there that can be removed, and another one there. So there we have it, job done. 10-minute job, and that will save hours of weeding. So I hope you found that useful. I'll be talking soon about how to support your dahlias, various options there, how to do that all. They're all quite good. As you can see, we've got pea netting on and some canes here. We'll talk about the options and a couple of different ways I do it here at Moorfield. I hope you found that useful, and I hope to see you again for the next video. Thanks so much, and bye now.